Yo, what's going on, people? Welcome back to the channel. My name's Ellis, aka Ellis the Kid, and today I'm going to show you that progression that you just heard, which is Playing Games by Summer Walker. Now, I would say this is probably an intermediate level progression. The chords are fairly simple, but there's little details and embellishments that are added which add that level of difficulty to the track. But don't worry, I'm going to show you the chord diagrams on screen and the embellishments that are used in between. So the song is in the key of B minor, and we're starting on a B minor 7 chord. Okay, so to play a B minor 7 chord, you're using your first finger to bar all 6 strings on the 7th fret. We're then using our ring finger to play the 9th fret of the A string, and this is how it sounds. Now, what we're doing is, once you play the high E string, you actually go ahead and hammer on to the 9th fret of the high E string. So this becomes a B minor 9 chord. But that doesn't sound right, does it? So what do we need to do? So in R&B, it's typical that we arpeggiate the chords. Now, arpeggiating just means playing the notes of the chord individually in sequence. Okay, so instead of playing the chord, we are arpeggiating the chord, and it should sound like this. Okay, but what we're doing here, what the guitarist is doing on this track, is he's not playing all the way down to the high E string. He's arpeggiating down to the G string of the chord, and as soon as he hits the G string, that's when he hammer-ons to the 9th fret of the high E string. But I do that with an upstroke. Sometimes I play the B string along with it. It depends. So that's the first part, and that already gives off that iconic Summer Walker sound that you hear when the song starts playing. So the next chord in the progression is a G flat minor 7. Okay, so to play a G flat minor 7, the diagram's on screen now, but we are using our first finger to bar the first 5 strings from the 9th fret down of the A string, okay? Okay, then our ring finger goes on the 11th fret of the D string, and finally we're playing our middle finger on the 10th fret of the B string. It gives that nice smooth R&B sound. So from the start, this chord we don't arpeggiate, we just strum it nice and smoothly. So this chord also does have hammer-ons and pull-offs. So once we play the chord, we strum it smoothly, we let it ring out. If you were to arpeggiate this chord, I would go ahead and play the 5th string and the 4th string notes. So we're playing, so you keep your hand in the same position, you don't move it. You play the first 2 strings of the chord. So that's the 9th fret of the A string and the 11th fret of the D string. So once you've played those 2 notes, so the 9th fret of the A string and the 11th fret of the D string, you are then hammering on from the 9th fret of the high E string to the 12th fret of the high E string, pulling off back to the 11th fret. So once I've hammered and pulled off back to the 9th fret of the E string, I just descend the chord, arpeggiating upwards. So that's the B string on the 10th fret and the G string on the 9th fret. Okay, so that's pretty much it for the second bit of the progression. The next chord in the progression is a G major 7. And to play that, what you're doing is you're playing your first finger on the 10th fret of the A string. Your ring finger goes on the 12th fret of the D string. Your middle finger goes on the 11th fret of the G string. And finally, your pinky finger, your 4th finger, goes on the 12th fret of the B string. But again, this includes embellishments. So this one, we arpeggiate downwards. When we play this chord, we don't want to have our pinky finger fretted just yet. So what we're doing is we're fretting our first 3 fingers of the chord. And what that means is you're using your first finger again to bar 5 strings down. And you're arpeggiating from the 5th string down to the G string. So when you play the B string, you're playing the 10th fret of the B string. And as soon as you play the B string, you're then hammering on to the 12th fret, which formulates the G major 7 chord. So it should sound like this. So the next chord in the progression there is an E minor 7 chord. And what we're doing there is we're using the same voicing that we used for the G flat minor 7 chord. But we're moving it down 2 frets and starting on the 7th fret of the A string. So your first finger, again, barring all 5 strings from the 7th fret of the A string down. we're using our ring finger, on the 9th fret of the D string, and then our middle finger is on the 8th fret of the B string. So once we play the E minor 7, we want to let it ring out slightly. Okay? Then what you want to do is pluck the 5th string and the 4th string while maintaining that position. Then I play this little embellishment here where we go ahead, because we're barring with our first finger, we can go ahead and play the B string on the 7th fret, hammering onto the 8th fret, pulling back off to the 7th fret. And then to tie the loop on this progression, we simply descend the chord, arpeggiating once again, playing the G string and the D string. It's only a subtle detail, but it adds so much depth to the progression. So this is what we have so far. And that takes us back to the beginning. So now we're at the beginning, we then loop through the chords once again. When we come to the second time round and we hit this chord here, which is the E minor 7, I do the same sort of arpeggiating, so 5th string, 4th string. Then when I play the B string on the 8th fret, I go slide down to the 7th fret to the 5th fret. And then you can just end it on this chord that we started on, which is the B minor 7. Okay, so that's pretty much it. It just loops round over and over again, and the embellishments change slightly, so feel free to add your own spin on it and your own details. So guys, that concludes this video on how to play Playing Games by Summer Walker. It's a fairly simple progression, but what makes it difficult is the embellishments in between. So have some patience, give it time, practice it slowly, and build it up to speed. If there's any other R&B and neo-soul songs that you want to learn, leave a comment down below as a suggestion, and I might release a video on how to play it in the future. If you found this video useful, give it a thumbs up. Let's try and get 20 likes on this video. And if you want to see more, make sure you subscribe so you don't miss out on my future content.